Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I would like to talk a very little bit today about a Blu-ray set that I picked up that just came out. Before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about history of Asian detective cinema, so to speak. And Fox, 20th Century Fox, had Warner Oland starring in a series, Charlie Chan series, the famous detective. And in this series, Key Luke played his number one son. And I have all these films, and this is the DVD box set that I have. This happens to be volume 2. But also, Fox also put out another series, a kind of detective, but also I always think a little bit like investigator, like a la James Bond, very early James Bondisms in this series. Peter Lorre as Mr. Moto, and this is the Mr. Moto collection box set, volume 1. All right, so that was what was going on. 20th Century Fox was putting out detectives, Asian detectives at the time. And then around 1937 or so, there was a problem with the horror genre. The horror genre was temporarily on hiatus, and actors like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi found themselves out of business insofar as making monster movies and horror films was concerned. But Boris Karloff was kind of taking almost anything, and same for Lugosi, really. But this is a series beginning with 1938. And this is what I'm going to show you here. This is what the item for this particular discussion. Boris Karloff in Mr. Wong, or the Mr. Wong collection. I have to tell you, as much as I love Boris Karloff, I don't really buy Karloff in the role of Mr. Wong too much. But this is a Blu-ray collection that just came out. This is the slipcase, and it's identical. I'm going to make a video someday about these slipcases. I'm not a big fan of slipcases. You might be surprised. And we'll get into that when the time comes. But this new set has 5 films in it. And there's the front, there's the back. As you can see, Karloff is in these 5 films. We have Mr. Wong Detective in 1938, The Mystery of Mr. Wong in 39, Mr. Wong in Chinatown in 1939, The Fatal Hour from 1940, and Doomed to Die, also 1940. That's 5 films starring Karloff. And there are the discs, spread out over 2 discs. Yeah, I've never seen all of these, I'll tell you the truth. I've seen the first, and I have to tell you, I watched the first film here, and I was not too happy with some of the real grainy, blurry looking scenes at night in the first film, but I spot checked all the other films, and all the other ones look really good. You have to understand, this company here is Monogram Pictures, which is a very, very low budget company back in the day. They made really cheap films starring the East Side Kids, the Bowery Boys, and stuff like that. So they were really a very, very like no frills company. They shot films very quickly, and Karloff worked for them briefly during this period. Of course, it's funny because in 1939, horror films would come back into vogue with the film Son of Frankenstein, and Karloff would go back to play the monster for Universal Studios, and he would do a lot of other stuff, working at Columbia Pictures as well. He didn't have to do these per se, but he did the rest of the Wong series all the way up through 1940. So he spent like 3 years there doing these 5 films. But before I go, I want to just show you this other DVD set that I first had of these movies here. This is the Mr. Wong collection, and it's called the Mr. Wong, I should get it right, complete collection. It's a complete collection because there is one film that is not on this, as good as this is. And yes, I gotta say, these films are an improvement visually over the DVD that first came out. This is from VCI, and it's really a nice, striking looking package, really. Not bad at all. And you have the disc looking like this there. It's really nice. I'm going to keep this collection. I'll tell you why also I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this because there's a film on here that is not on here. And this one is Phantom of Chinatown. It stars Key Luke. Key Luke takes over. I mentioned Key Luke, who was the #1 son in the Charlie Chan series at Fox. Well, Key Luke takes over from Karloff in the role for one film. But this new Kino Lorber collection only has the 5 Karloff films. It's a Karloff collection. It doesn't have the sixth film without Karloff. So if you want all of Mr. Wong's, gotta get this one. If you want just the Karloffs in spruced up quality to a degree, and again I stress spruced up quality as far as you can get for these particular movies because they were made on a shoestring. So this is the one you need for better quality, but make your decisions. Anyway, maybe one day I'll do an actual review of the actual movies themselves. Okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Subscribe if you haven't. Talk soon.